Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hanging With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. One more thing, please hit subscribe and smash the bell. Come back over and over again. Get notified whenever we have a new author, artist, filmmaker, musician, creative mind of any kind here in the chair. Right now, we are hanging with author Adam Tritt, among other things. Got a lot of stuff here, but he's the author of Bud the Spud. Let that sink in. Bud the Spud. And I have an interesting and disturbing bit of news. I was told off camera that this is a children's book featuring cannibalism. Now, I have as the father of many children, I have advocated for eating children for years.
Okay.
Many, for years. So let's start with this. Bud the Spud. Well, we're going to work our way through this pile. By the way, this is what, when you're a writer, this is what you do.
That's some of them. That's some of them.
Okay. Bud the Spud. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell us. I will ask you the same thing that your parents did when you said you were going to be a writer. What?
I never told them that.
Oh, you never told them? No. We hid that.
No.
Okay, so what is Bud the Spud? Tell us about this.
So, Bud the Spud was created a long time ago, back when Disney on cable had a station at Disney Channel, and they had a show where they went around the world and they
That was
showed,
before they were going to charge you $7.99 a
That's
month
true.
for all of their Disney
That's
content.
true.
That's right.
And they had a show where you got to see various playgrounds through the world.
Okay.
And my kids would stare, fixated at this program, looking at these various playgrounds. On beautiful days, they would sit inside in the dark and watch kids play in the playground. That was just before I pulled the plug, literally pulled the plug out of the wall.
So we used to have what we call gadget-free days. We would literally, we would do pull all the plugs, get out of here. Or stay, but do something that's not that.
Well, this book came out of that.
This came out, okay.
This came out of that incident, yes.
So give us the book blurb here on this.
It is a story about a child who does not move off the couch except to get food and change the channel.
Now, for those of you on YouTube, I will inform you that hence the title. We used to call those kids couch potatoes.
That is correct.
That's right.
That is correct. And he did turn into a potato.
He turned into an actual potato.
Yes. And there are 3 different endings to this book. 2 endings, which I like. The third, which I vastly prefer, greatly prefer. And the second ending, which my wife insisted I put in, where he actually rehabilitates himself and becomes a little boy again. I don't like that ending. There's no blood, there's no gore.
So you ate him?
Yes, the parents turn him into, I shouldn't tell you the end.
You have to buy the book.
I will tell you that the Academy for Pediatric Education lauds this book and uses it for educational purposes and asks that it be in all pediatric offices.
That's
so
fantastic.
It's not as gory or terrible as I make it sound. I'm really just trying to get it banned. Because once it's banned, it'll sell.
Big.
So
huge.
So I should say this.
Huge.
Children, if your parents try to bring you to McDonald's, please call DCF on them and tell them you want this book.
Yes.
Will that do that?
They should do it. My last book is a near future dystopian novel. My bad guys are Malaysian. I was blessed when Malaysia banned my book.
Excellent.
What a blessing. More Malaysians have downloaded my book than anywhere else, I think.
I keep inviting Fox News to come to readings of this. But
to see if they can get somebody.
Don't.
No,
they
not
don't.
At all.
So
okay. So couch potato.
Yes. 3 different endings.
3 different endings. Are they all in the one book?
They are all in the one book.
Spread around.
They're all in the one book. And the third ending for parents who don't care.
I will tell you. I'm going to tell them on the air, guys. I know you guys don't mind. Just give us a minute. I will tell you. My friends who do comic books would tell you what you should do is each ending in another book. They're called variants. They call them. And the variants. Then you could sell 3 books to the same guy.
I wish I could get my publisher to go for that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Axios, are you listening?
My comic book guys do this all. They do that with cover art. They make 4 or 5 covers, the same exact book.
Axios Press, you're listening, yes?
There you go, okay. Axios, there you go. Get some things done here. Okay, we have a vast body of work here in addition to your Bud the Spud. So we're going to start with you. How long have you been writing professionally? When I ask the how long you've been writing question, the answer I always get is since I could hold a pencil.
Yes. That's not true for me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
that's
you
not
know what?
true.
Let's do it the other way then. How long have you been writing?
I have been writing since about 10th grade, maybe 8th.
He cheated. It's the same answer. It's just a
I could
different
hold
answer,
the pencil
10th grade.
long before that.
That's true. I wasn't very good with the pencil before that.
No,
but yes.
I've always used a typewriter or computer.
Typewriter or
I
computer?
don't handwrite because then I can't read it afterwards.
Amen to that.
So-
Amen to that. Yeah, there was a thing called a typewriter. You'll look it up. You'll Google it. They sell them in antique shops now.
It's true. That's
We did
true.
our first college papers on them.
My wife did my first college papers on them.
Yeah.
Because I would dictate and
I
she'd
love
type.
an honest guy. He was straight up about that. His wife did those first college papers. If you're watching, the A still stands. You gotta stick to it.
It does. I did her college papers, but she still did the typing.
Very, very cool. Okay, so when did you start writing professionally?
Oh, 98 maybe.
98?
98.
Okay. What was the first book? Is it in the pile?
The first book, this is a reprint of the first book.
Okay, this is a reprinting.
And
okay.
that was written at the request of a publisher. This is an old, ancient form of divination.
Runic divination in the Welsh tradition.
And Cross Quarter Press knew that I did
That's
this,
cool.
and they asked me to write a book on it.
That is awesome.
Pain in the ass.
So yeah, I like it.
It
He's honest.
was
He's straight up.
but it was done, and
That is
it's the
cool.
only book on the subject. Period. It's the only book on the subject.
Anywhere. Really?
Yep. It's mentioned in one other book. Mentioned West Country Wicca by Rihanna Rial, but there's no other book about it. So I am the foremost expert in the world on something nobody gives a crap about.
Me too.
But I am on I am on Wikipedia about this as one of the 4 world experts on runes.
There are 4 of you.
But it's Wikipedia, so you can't
You're the
trust
only
them.
one that wrote the book, though.
Yeah, on runes in general.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's Wikipedia, so you can't trust them.
Anybody, you all know, you all are on the web. You know, anybody can contribute to a Wikipedia page.
Right.
You do have to have sources,
Not good sources.
but they're
not even real sources.
They don't have to be great.
No.
I think my Wikipedia page, somebody actually tried to use my Amazon page as a source of information.
Well, okay.
And I went, I wrote that. How can you use that as a source? And I wrote that. But okay, so what do we have? We have songs from the well.
Songs from the Well.
Okay, what is this?
That is.
I just grabbed the book from the top.
That's
guys.
okay. That is a history of my life with my wife.
Life with your.
And
This looks far shorter than that.
her life was far shorter than it should have been.
Did you edit? Did she edited?
Her life was far shorter than it should have been.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
I am sorry to hear that.
And so it ends when she ended. At least her time here. So.
And that's how you shut a talk show host up. We got nothing to go with that. We have nothing to go with that.
But this is from when we met up until the last essay is just before she left.
Oh wow.
Just a week or two.
That's amazing. There is for artists. There's something incredibly cathartic about our art when we are suffering in times of loss and things. And this had to be that kind of thing.
It is what kept me here. Being able to write about it, not for myself, but because other people kept saying, I've gone through this, I'm reading your stuff, this is helping me know it's not just me.
That's awesome.
So we ended up publishing all the essays that I wrote about it, and all the talks that I did on brain cancer and the talks I did about surviving spouses. They ended up in a book.
That's fantastic, and you know, one of the best things that ever happens to a writer is when someone comes to your table or someone reaches out on email or Facebook and says, "I read your writings and it helped. I connected."
Right.
And you were able to take your loss and connect with readers,
Yep.
and that's amazing. And that's all I'm going to do on that, because this show is going to, you guys are all crying, and that guy needs to wipe his eyes real quick. Not on the computer. We're playing here. Okay, Poets for Peace.
That's one of my favorites, and it's not all me, but long time ago there was a president, second Bush, and the Iraq War started, and there was supposed to be a large group of poets coming to Washington for a conference on poetry, and Laura Bush put an end to it because they knew there would be a lot of anti-war poetry. So they created their own conference outside of Washington, and this book is what came out of the conference. I'm in there between Thich Nhat Hanh and Willem Carlos Williams.
Wow.
So I'm very
Heady
proud
company.
of that.
That is awesome. I do remember when the International Poetry Society's conference was canceled. At the time, I had just published my 3rd poem with the society, and I was seriously considering the conference, and so I remember that. So that's amazing.
I feel lucky to be in
bring
there.
somebody again, bringing something out of there, and that's wow. And we're working our way down, guys. This is awesome, and all of this, guys, we're going to put links down below so that you can find all of this stuff online. This one here we have Yom Kippur, as manifest in approaching dorsal.
Yom Kippur is manifest in approaching dorsal fin.
When I edit this, we're going to spin up this book cover, because you don't see these things in the same place very often.
No, you don't.
Yom Kippur as manifest in an approaching dorsal fin. And we got a shark fin here. Oh, okay, dude, bring it, come on.
This is about mystical Judaism.
Okay.
The mystical aspects of Judaism. And the spirituality and the beauty in mundane life, everyday life.
That's pretty awesome.
And this is started off with a story about one Yom Kippur, where I didn't go to temple that day, instead went to the beach for a run. At one point, I used to be able to run. You can tell I don't now, but I used to be able to. And the whole book actually came out of that.
That's cool. Just finding the beauty in everyday life. That's right. It is one of the things that I think artists do best, creative artists do best, is remind people that temples and churches and places of worship, we live on earth, guys. It's all a temple.
Yep.
It is some place where you can find the wonder and mystery and mysticism in creation at the beach.
Yes.
And you don't believe me, try a sunrise on a Florida beach, and you will have, I promise you, a spiritual experience.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so we're working our way down here. The Phoenix and the Dragon. Whew, wow, this stuff is all really heady. I'm glad I got over here, but I'm afraid of what he's gonna say, so I'm gonna ask you anyway.
I wouldn't
the Phoenix and the Dragon.
Because
this is really, guys. We have right now. We've got it. They're weeping. They're intrigued. They're interested.
Well, then my job is done.
There you go. Phoenix and the Dragon.
That is my only book of nothing but poetry. Everything else I write,
Nothing but
combinations, they're thematic. Poetry, short story, creative nonfiction.
Awesome.
This is my only book of solid poetry, and it follows the alchemical transformation, the cycle of alchemical transformation.
All right. I was wrong. It's all. This is heady too. This is great. And you know what?
Yes.
So I did notice a theme running through here,
Yes.
and that is that among being a fiction writer and a creative artist, you're also a poet.
Yes.
And I'd like to. What drew you to poetry? And what? First of all, poetry comes in many shapes and sizes.
Yes.
We have stream of consciousness poetry. We have limerick poetry, or what you all know from rhyme and meter from Shakespeare. What is your favorite medium to write in as a poet?
Free verse.
Free verse, okay. And why?
I find it more creative.
That it is.
I find it more creative.
That it is.
I find that I can show people things they thought were common in a new way, and make things that are very uncommon seem familiar.
That's fantastic.
And I get to distill it down to as few sounds as I can make it, and then make it lyrical and rhythmic.
I was going to say, when you write, and the distinction here, guys, is freestyle poetry is not about rhyme, it's about meter. In particular, it's heavy on meter, and it's about the sounds that you make. It's turning words into music.
Absolutely, it has to be lyrical. If it's not lyrical, it never sees the light of day with me.
So, how long have you always wanted to publish? When did you decide that you're going to pull the trigger and do this?
I've always wanted to publish, and I think that's even before I started writing, because I knew I wanted to publish.
Yeah, I think my first published work was with the society. I was in 2 anthologies, and I remember there's, by the way, if you publish in an anthology, especially for an international organization, there are no royalties.
Right.
Just saying, you're publishing because you want to feel your book. You want to feel your contribution to literature. And in all the book sense, nothing feels as good as that first you're in. You're in this book. This is your book. It'll be coming out on this day. And the best free book you've ever gotten is the one that has your work inside. And it's awesome to do. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. Guys, we have been hanging out with author Adam Tritt, the author of Bud the Spud, of The Phoenix and the Dragon, of Yom Kippur, a manifest, as manifest in an approaching dorsal fin. I will not get that right.
I love long titles.
At all, yes. Poets for Peace. Check this out, guys. We want to show you Songs from the Well. And of course, we have here the world's only book on runic divination and Welsh tradition, Tellstones. Check these out. Links are down below. In the meantime, thank you to Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, Indie Originals, Josh Bauer at J. Bauer Art for providing all of the art for our set this weekend. That's fantastic. Our good friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida and Griptown Radio. Thank you for logging on and tuning in. If you like the show and you love what we do, please head on over to Patreon, make a small donation, join the tiers. Dylan Pomichter is doing amazing work finding ways to give you guys extra stuff. So go on over and check that out. In the meantime, subscribe here, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
That
was fantastic.
Thank you.